Hello everybody, ToadsBomb here, and today, because of the recent launch of the Doubles Fill List, I wanted to talk about something that will absolutely launch your game into a whole new world of play, and that is running in pairs. Now this is something even back in the dawn of Halo 1 has been the thing that has separated the good teams from the bad teams, is the ability to run in pairs, and it doesn't matter if it's doubles, 3v3, 4v4, 8v8 even. This is still a very useful tactic. Now it does get maybe a little less useful when you get into those higher player number counts, because you know, you're gonna be even running maybe even in larger groups than just a pair of two, and is much more effective in something like team doubles because two people's your entire team. But regardless, it's very important to be able to do this. Now what I mean when I say running around in pairs, it's exactly what it sounds like. Running around with another dude and kicking some ass. Now, unfortunately, it's not quite as easy as just saying, hey dude, we should stick together the whole team, or the whole game, and boom, magic happens. It's not quite that easy. It's a lot more complex than that, in fact. And if you do end up doing that, like literally somehow sticking 5 feet next to the guy, that's not gonna quite work out, and it's not gonna be magic. Trust me. Because that's exactly what I did when I first started doing this with my team, and it didn't quite work out as we expected. So what we found is that you have to be a little more lenient on your definition of pairs. You can't just throw a leash on the guy and stick really close to him. You have to stay within a close enough range that you see the same people and end up shooting the same people, because that's the reason that you run in pairs. And so you're both shooting the same guy, so the gun fights are always 2-on-1, making you have the upper hand every single time. But stay far enough away at the same time and try as best you can to complement their positioning. And a really good situation for this, and a really common scenario where people will use this tactic, is say they're kind of getting spawn trapped, the game sort of slows down, they're kind of hiding behind stuff, and they know they need to push out of the spawn because they're just getting absolutely destroyed. So you say, hey dude, teammate, person, gamer tag, sniper boy 27, let's go through this hallway. Now, the wrong thing to do would be literally just stick to each other in reaching arm distance and run down the hallway, and oh hey, the people see you on the radar. Maybe there's no radar, but they see you, call you out, you get naded, and boom, you're dead. The correct thing to do would be to try and spread out in that hallway as much as possible. Say, at the beginning of the game, when you're playing Midship or Heretic in Halo 3, you would want to try and put one person on the left side going up from Needles to P2, and one person on the right side of that ramp. That way you can dodge grenades and you can be as spread out as possible. So, another example of that in Halo 4 would maybe be Haven. You're running down one of the hallways, maybe it's the lower hallway, maybe it's the upper hallway. You want to try and keep one guy closer to the inside, one guy a little closer to the outside, or some sort of position variance there, so you're not literally just almost making out with each other while you're trying to run down this hallway, right? So that'd be a good example of like pushing, and it's a common example of where people are kind of taking a breath, and then they're seeing the situation and saying, hey, we really need to get out of this, we need to run in a group. But that's not always the case. It's much more chaotic during a game. You don't always have that time to take a breath. So really the hardest part about this is communicating to your team and being able to coordinate with other people. Because, you know, if you're trying to run with one guy, a lot of times, oh, I have this idea to go down this hallway, and he has this idea to do this, and someone heard this call out, so it's just all mixed up, and we're all doing different things. We're not all running as one unit. And the easiest way to remedy this as best as possible is to let your teammates know what you're doing. Just say, hey, I'm pushing gold right now. Oh, I spawned here. Oh, I'm gonna try and do this, help me out. Something like that. Let your teammates know where your position is, because as much as teammates should and try to figure out where all their teammates are, it's hard to keep track of 7 people at the same time. You know, if it's 4v4, it's hard to keep track of that. So let your teammates know what's going on, what you're doing, what you're thinking about, just a little bit, and that'll help a lot. But unfortunately, not all of us have the luxury of having a full team, another teammate you might have to run alone in doubles or alone in a 4v4 game type or whatever it is. So you can't communicate to them necessarily and have them actually cooperate. So the best way to get around that is to just be like a slave to their gameplay. It sucks and everything, but try and learn positions that will complement their positions. Try and figure out and look and pay attention as best as possible to where your teammates' positions are, so you can kind of figure out, alright, this is what he's thinking, he's pushing this way, so I'll kind of follow him. That's a good idea. And if it's not a good idea, you should probably just back out. You're like, what the hell is that guy doing? Maybe just let him die and learn from his mistakes. But as best as possible, try to figure out the teammates that are doing the good things and kind of stick with them. It's very hard if you're not communicating, but that's the best advice I can give if you don't have that luxury of communication, which a lot of people don't. And it's also important to note that you don't just run with one person necessarily. You don't have to just run with one guy. If you have a team of 4 people, you're all communicating. Whoever's closest to you, whoever's in the best position that complements the position you're in, you see them, hear what they're doing, and you're like, oh, hey, I'm close to that spot, so I'll help you out, I'll run with you, I'll do what you're doing for right now. So it's not necessarily just like, oh, hey, Sniper Boy 117, only going with him. You could go with, Grenade Diva 69, and you could go with that person too. That's a pretty awesome name, by the way. So you could run with that person too for a little bit if they're in a better position or whatever. So that's important to note, is don't just stay strictly to one buddy. You can mix around and stuff like that, and it'll make it much more effective and much more easier. But really, it's just practice doing this stuff and kind of pay attention and be aware of it as much as possible. Even if you're just playing alone, try and be a little more aware of where your teammates are and the positions that they're going to, so you can try and kind of follow them and start doing what they're doing, even if you aren't able to communicate with them. And that'll kind of get you in the mindset of them and help you, complement their position and as a team do much better. So anyways, that'll be it for this one. If you liked it, you can leave a like or a comment, or you could subscribe because I post new Halo videos every day. Anyways, thank you for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye.